All right, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into something you might not expect. Lawyers.
Oh boy.
I know, right?
Okay.
Not exactly the most exhilarating topic, but hear me out. This isn't your typical boring law firm website. We're looking at Guest and Gray, and let me tell you their approach to this whole lawyering thing. Color me intrigued.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's so easy to glance at a law firm's website and think, okay, seen it all before. But when you actually get down to it, especially with a firm that seems as people-focused as Guest and Gray, well, things get a lot more interesting.
So first things first, they're a full-service firm, which on the surface might not sound like a big deal, but we're talking about family law, personal injury, even criminal defense, wills, probate, business law. They've basically got all your legal needs covered.
And that's huge for anyone looking for a lawyer. It goes beyond just checking off boxes on a list. It's about having that trust knowing your lawyer gets you and your story, whether it's dealing with a fender bender, launching a business, or, even facing criminal charges. It's about having that one reliable place for pretty much any legal situation life throws your way.
Which makes their whole customer first thing pretty interesting, because everyone says that right. But these guys have over 400 Google reviews. For lawyers, that's practically unheard of.
And that's what caught my eye, too. You see reviews for law firms, they're not just about good service. It's about transparency, building trust. It's a field that's usually, kind of secretive. So to see that many people come out and publicly share their good experiences, that says a lot. It tells me Guest and Gray are definitely doing something right when it comes to keeping their clients happy.
400 reviews.
Oh.
Wow. You know what? I am really looking forward to digging into those later, getting a feel for what people are saying.
Oh, yeah. It's a gold mine. You can learn so much about a firm by how their clients talk about them, good and bad, their values, how they communicate their whole approach. It's all right there.
And speaking of getting a feel for them, they're really plugged into their community, right? With multiple locations and everything.
That's right. Their main office is in Forney, but they've also got branches in Rockwall and Plano.
Which makes you wonder, are they trying to attract a certain type of client? Or is it more of a strategic expansion? What do you think?
I'd say it's probably a bit of both. But remember how we talked about them being local? Having offices in those specific places tells me they're serious about being connected to those communities. They're not just some faceless firm in a big downtown high-rise.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
And it's more than just location, right? They're involved with the Kaufman County Bar, and some of their lawyers were even assistant district attorneys. Talk about some serious legal street cred.
Absolutely. That kind of experience, especially in Kaufman County, it's gold for their clients, especially for criminal defense cases. Think about it. They've seen both sides of the system, prosecution and defense. They know how the other side thinks. They know the local courts. They might even be able to anticipate the prosecution's next move. That can make a huge difference in negotiations or even at trial.
Wow, talk about knowing the game inside and out.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder what kind of stories they could tell. But seriously, you can tell they're not just going through the motions. They're really present in the community. But speaking of their legal experience, I noticed they handle a pretty wide range of criminal defense cases.
You're right. Their website mentions everything from DUI and drug offenses to assault and even white-collar crimes. It's a lot of ground to cover. And it tells me they've got the know-how to handle some pretty complex cases. They really understand all the ins and outs of criminal law.
That's reassuring, especially when you're talking about something as serious as criminal charges. It's not just about knowing the law. It's about having the experience and the connections to actually navigate the system effectively. But you know what's really got me curious?
It's their blog. Honestly, who knew lawyers could be so down to earth? They've got articles about recovering from car accidents, even one explaining Texans' rights when it comes to vehicle searches.
Right. It's like they're speaking our language.
Yeah.
And it's smart. They're not just throwing legal jargon at you. They're giving out actually useful info that people can use every day.
Yeah.
It's all about building trust, making people feel like they can turn to Guest and Gray, even for simple questions. Makes you wonder, though, with all this talk about community experience, those awesome Google reviews, is there anything their website doesn't tell us? Like, what's the vibe like at the firm?
You hit the nail on the head. That human element, you can't always get that from a website. It's definitely something worth looking into. Maybe reach out, schedule a quick chat.
Yeah.
See how they communicate, how they approach your questions, get a feel for them.
Good point. This whole deep dive into Guest and Gray has been seriously eye-opening. They're definitely not your average law firm. It makes you think, would you rather have a lawyer who's like a walking encyclopedia of law but super intimidating, or one who's really in tune with the community, prioritizes clear communication, and seems genuinely invested in their clients.
Hmm.
Definitely something to consider. It's like they're saying, hey, we're your neighbors. We get it.
Yeah.
Which I gotta say is pretty refreshing coming from a law firm. But with all this emphasis on community and experience and those glowing Google reviews, I can't help but wonder about something that's not really on their website. What's a firm culture like? What's it actually like to work with these people?
That's a really good point. That human element is so important, and it's not always easy to get a sense of that just from a website.
Exactly.
It's definitely something I'd recommend exploring further. Maybe reach out to them, directly request a consultation, see how their communication style is and how they address your concerns, get a feel for their personality.
That's some solid advice right there. Well, folks, this deep dive into Guest and Gray has been quite the eye-opener. They're more than just lawyers. They're part of the community, and they're clearly doing something right. It makes you think about what really matters when you need legal help. So until next time, keep those thinking caps on, and remember the best way to understand something is to dive deep.